The Paper Magician is a side-scrolling 2D platformer. The player will use paper to create spells and weapons to defeat enemies and obstacles in their way. The player will climb, jump, and run to explore levels and gather materials and upgrades, such as one to increase their inventory. As players explore, they will encounter obstacles that will get in the way. To pass by obstacles, they must have gathered the required materials and combined them in the correct way to pass by. For instance, a chasm can be passed with the cardstock material if the player has found the spell to create a paper crane to fly to the other side. In other instances, players may encounter enemies and must use the correct spell to defeat them. Some enemies can be defeated with a paper sword, but others must be defeated with a pin or a quote from a book. Players will choose their weapons via an in-game menu that opens with a button press. They will then select the correct material and spell for their purposes. Each material will give hints as to its use. Using the chasm example, the cardstock material will indicate that it stands up well to wind and water, implying that it could be used for a plane or a boat. The obstacles in the game can vary from simple puzzles or physical objects that they must pass to traditional enemies. These enemies take the form of shadow figures that heavily feature skulls and other symbolism to show they are lined with fear and death. The concrete goal of the game is to pass all puzzles and enemies to reach the end. However, the game focuses heavily on the story of the protagonist, so the abstract goal is to discover the story and see it to completion. This includes viewing all cutscenes and finding all memory collectibles to fully grasp and explore the tale of the magician fighting for her lover. She must use the ideals of love and knowledge to defeat the fear and death hurled by her enemies to keep him and herself safe. Two of the most similar games to the Paper Magician are Limbo and Typo Man. Both are 2D platformers that feature a combination of puzzles, physics, enemies, and a strong story to create an immersive experience. While the story is obviously different, the primary and most notable difference is the use of paper as a medium to bypass obstacles. Aside from the obvious risks of a student team, I believe the only real risk with this project is the necessary artwork to make the world as immersive as possible. Because it is a 2D platformer, the player will rely on the art elements to indicate level changes, mood changes, and indicators or clues where collectibles may be hidden. However, I hope to overcome this by ensuring visual clues are present, even in the most rudimentary way, which I believe will result in the project being successful.